There are evenings that look completely ordinary. You're sitting at the dinner table, a bowl of soup still warm, your phone lying face down beside the plate. Then a message comes in. Nothing aggressive, nothing loud, just a sentence that sounds reasonable. I did this for your own good. You read it, and suddenly your chest feels a little heavier. Your stomach tightens, not pain, just discomfort. That quiet feeling of something is off, but you can't quite explain why. If you've ever felt that, listen closely. You're not crazy. There is a reason for that reaction. What we're talking about today is called Machiavellianism. It sounds academic, distant, but in real life, it's painfully familiar. Think of it like a kitchen knife at home. Most days, it's harmless. You use it to cook, to prepare a meal, to take care of people. But in the hands of someone who truly believes that the outcome matters more than the way you get there, that knife stops being neutral. Machiavellianism is the mindset of, as long as I win, the method is justified. Part is, it rarely looks cruel. It looks calm, logical, even caring. Psychologically, it's not about rage. At its core, this mindset is driven by fear. Fear of losing status, fear of being powerless, fear of becoming a quiet decision. Other people's feelings matter, but my goal matters more. Once that belief settles in, the mind becomes very creative. Small lies become necessary. Pressure becomes motivation. Silence becomes strategy. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people who think this way don't see themselves as bad. They see themselves as realistic. In romantic relationships, it often starts gently. They listen closely. They learn what you're afraid of, what you want, what makes you feel secure. And then, slowly, they use that knowledge to steer the relationship. One day they give in, so later you feel guilty asking for anything. One day they withdraw, and your body reacts before your mind does. Faster heartbeat, cold hands, shallow breath. Your nervous system learns a rule. Peace depends on not upsetting them. So you adjust. You explain less. You question yourself more. No one forces you. And that's why it works. Outside of love, this mindset thrives in families and workplaces. A parent says, I'm hard on you because I want the best for you. A manager says, pressure builds champions. On the surface, it sounds responsible, mature, even caring. But the pattern is the same. The goal is non-negotiable. Your emotional cost is collateral. And here's something important. Machiavellianism cannot survive alone. It needs someone on the other side who is conscientious, empathetic, willing to endure discomfort to keep the peace. If that's you, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means your brain is doing what it was designed to do: protect connection, avoid conflict, survive within the group. Sometimes you're not being manipulated because you're naive. You're being pulled because you're human. So pause here for a moment. That tight feeling in your chest when someone says, I'm only doing this for you, that's not random. It's information. In the next part, we'll talk about how to step out of this dynamic, not by becoming cold or aggressive, but by quietly reclaiming your position. One small, grounded step at a time. At some point, a thought usually appears, very quietly. But they care about me, right? They didn't mean to hurt me. Maybe this is just how the world works. That thought is not weakness. It's resistance. Your mind trying to protect a bond it once depended on. So let's slow this down a bit. There is an important distinction most people miss. A mistake is an accident. A pattern is a choice. Everyone can be harsh once. Everyone can prioritize themselves in a moment of fear. But Machiavellian thinking shows itself in repetition. The same pressure, the same justification, the same outcome, you adopting, them advancing. And your body always knows before your mind catches up. You hesitate before speaking. You rehearse messages in your head. You check your tone, your timing, your facial expression, as if peace depends on your precision. This is where many people blame themselves. Why didn't I leave earlier? Why do I keep allowing this? Here's the truth, and it matters. You didn't stay because you were weak. You stayed because your nervous system learned that compliance reduced pain. That's not a character flaw. That's survival. Machiavellian people don't overpower others with force. They wait, they observe, they learn where your boundaries soften, then apply pressure there. And here's the part that's hard to accept. They are not monsters. They're often deeply insecure people who learned early that being straightforward was dangerous, so they became strategic instead. Understanding this does not mean excusing it. It simply removes the illusion that if you explain yourself better, they'll change. They already understand. They just don't prioritize mutuality. So what do? Not dramatic confrontations, not revenge, not emotional speeches. You start with something much quieter. You slow your responses. 2 seconds of silence before answering a request, not to punish, but to feel your body again. You write things down, not messages to them, notes to yourself. What was said, what was asked, how you felt afterward. Patterns become harder to deny when they're on paper. You stop over-explaining. Machiavellian dynamics feed on justification. The less you defend your reality, the clearer it becomes. And here's something gentle but important. You are allowed to disappoint people who benefit from your compliance. Discomfort is not danger. Guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. If you're listening to this and feeling a quiet ache, like something is finally being named, you're not late. You're on time. Because awareness doesn't arrive when it's convenient. It arrives when you're strong enough to hold it. If you feel ready, share in the comments a sentence you've heard too many times. I'm doing this for you. You're overthinking. This is just how things are. Not to expose anyone, but to see how common this really is. And if this kind of conversation feels grounding to you, stay. Not because you need fixing, but because clarity, once it starts, tends to ask for more space. You deserve relationships where the goal is not winning, but understanding.